Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Salam alaikum. How are you? I hope you are keeping well and you are benefiting from these beautiful days and nights to the extent that it makes you happy and you are growing, inshallah, spiritually. And we are live with the fourth session of our commentary on Dua Arafah. Today we are going to have, inshallah, one of the most important discussions. I think it's although I think all of the discussions we've had so far, the things we've learned from Imam Husayn have been very important, very beautiful. But today, pay special attention, extra attention. Imam Husayn is going to blow our mind away. And Imam Husayn is going to say things today to us that honestly, if I said this myself and didn't say this is from Imam Husayn, I would get into trouble. It's very interesting. Things that may seem a little bit controversial, but it's Imam Husayn. He's saying it. So I'm very excited actually about today. And I think let's start without any further ado. So, perfect. We have 15 minutes, inshallah. We'll start from now. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Salamun alaikum. In the last session, if you remember, the topic of the discussion was God's love for us. And we said this love started even before we were born. Many years before we were born, from one generation to another generation, throughout history. You know, rulers came and went, empires came and went, but God kept us protected and safe until the time was ready for us to come, when we could have the most outcome and we could, shine. When the time was ready for us to shine, then God brought us to this world. And then even then, He didn't leave us right there. No, He took care of us. There were people around us that were going to take care of us. He put love in their heart. In the people that were taking care of us, our parents, He made them loving towards us. He made us cute, that people take care of us. He gave us food, He gave us milk, all the way till we grew and grew. And we could start talking, okay? And then, inshallah, today we're going to read the rest of this story. Imam mentions, in addition to all of these things that God did for us so that our body grows, and inshallah, even today, we'll read that in the next passages. Imam says, you gave me food, you gave me clothing. Then Imam mentions another kind of blessings that God gives us. And it's a very important topic. Please pay attention. So far, Imam has mentioned what kind of blessings. Okay, you made sure I am taken care of as a child. Food came to me. You make sure that no harm comes my body grows, etc., etc. And then today we're going to talk about another type of blessing. So it's not just a physical blessing, and that is guidance. Okay, I am here. You've given me the power to create, but I don't know what to do. It's a complicated world. And now your mind is going to be blown away by what Imam Husayn says. But let's just slowly go towards it. So anyway, Imam says, أَتْمَمْتَ عَلَيَّ سَوَابِغَ الْإِنْعَامِ. So you perfected for me all these blessings. وَرَبَّيْتَنِي زَائِدًا فِي كُلِّ عَامٍ. Every year you took care of me, every year even more. By the way, some important point to remember. رَبَّيْتَنِي. A lot of the times, in du'as or elsewhere, we say, Ya Rabbi, Ya Rabbi, Ya Rab. You want to know what does Rab mean? We keep saying Ya Rab. From now onwards, I hope whenever we say Ya Rabbi, this is what comes to our mind. Because all of these things that Imam Husayn listed, that God did for us, he mentioned this as the, God's quality of being a Rab. He said, you're a Rab. Why? Because you kept me safe. You're a Rab. Why? Because you made my mother loving to me. You're a Rab. Why? You gave me food, right? So this is what Rab means. There's so much love in it, right? A Rab is someone who takes care of you, loves you before you were even born, is make sure food reaches you, love reaches you, listens to you, سامعا للدعوات دافعا للكربات. All of this comes together to become Rab. And as we mentioned last session, this is not for, I don't know, good people or for this religion or people of this color. No, this is for everyone. God did this for every single human being. This Rabb. Right? In Surah Nas, what do we say? قُلْ أَعُوذُ بِرَبِّ النَّاسِ. He's the Rabb of Nas, people, every single person. God took care of them. All of these stages God went through with them. Long before they were born, He took care of them. When is the right time for them to be born? And then they came. God showed love, put love in their mothers' hearts. All of this for everyone. Rabb Nas, Malik Nas, Ilah Nas. God is for everyone. God's love is for everyone. Okay, so you did all of this for me حتى إذا اكتملت فطرتي, until my fitrat, the part of me which makes me an insan, was slowly perfecting. واعتدلت مرتي, my physical, my mental strength was ready. Then you started another type of blessing for me. And that was your guidance. But guidance is a weird word. It may take us somewhere else. What does guidance mean? Guidance means God's love in the way that He talks to us so that we know what's the best thing for us. Please pay attention. I'm going to read the phrase and then we're going to go through it. أوجبت علي حجتك بأن ألهمتني معرفتك وروعتني بعجائب حكمتك وأيقظتني لما ذرأت في سمائك وأرضك من بدائع خلقك ونبهتني لشكرك وذكرك وأوجبت علي طاعتك وعبادتك وفهمتني ما جاءت به رسلك ويسرت لي تقبل مرضاتك ومننت علي في جميع ذلك بعونك ولطفك. Okay, what is going on? What is Imam Husayn saying here? Imam says, أوجبت علي حجتك بأن ألهمتني معرفتك. Okay, what does أوجبت علي حجتك means? Let's say the whole thing of hujjah, what does it mean? Let's say you, for example, tell someone that I want you to finish this work by that day. Now, if they don't do it on that day, you can tell them, see, I told you. If I hadn't told you, you could have said, well, I didn't know I should do it. But I told you. The fact that you told them I expect this is your hujjah on them. Right? Now it's very interesting. Some of us may think later on the day of judgment, if God tells us, why didn't you take care of yourself? Why were you not careful? Why didn't you live the best way you could? A beautiful way. Some of us think, what is God's hujjah on us? Didn't I send Islam to you? Weren't you, for example, the follower of this religion? Right? So I told you, I sent you Islam, so I expect you to live well. Imam Husayn says, no, that's not what's going to happen. What? That's not? No. Imam says religion is not God's hujjah, the first hujjah. What is it? بأن ألهمتني معرفتك. God is going to say the thing which is my hujjah to you is what? That I reveal to you yourself directly my ma'rifat, my knowledge. So it's direct communication with God and us. So God says, forget about religion. Before coming to that, I have instilled within you a direct line that I speak to you. You sense things when they're right and when they're wrong. This is the one I'm going to ask for on the day of judgment. It's very beautiful, mind-blowing. And in fact, it is this thing that you have to use to choose your religion. Otherwise, how do you know if the religion is right or wrong? It is this voice within you that tells you. And in some of our lectures, I said a lot of the times, actually, this voice will tell you part of your religion is wrong. Not that religion was wrong, the one that's reached us. Throughout the years, it's been affected. And I told you, sometimes the person may tell you, know what, this is the hukm that you have to do. And you feel like, ooh, this seems cruel. On the day of judgment, if you act according to that ruling of religion, whereas within you felt it's cruel, you're going to be responsible. Because God says, Alhamdulillah, I sent direct communication to your heart. You felt it was wrong. You were meant to go and search. So God says, see, I'm talking to you directly before anything extra inside you. Very important. Now, God says, I talk to you so sometimes like this directly within yourself, you have a feeling, oh, this is wrong, this is wrong. This is me talking to you. This is my voice within you. But sometimes I talk to you through your life events. God is saying, as part of, Imam Husayn is saying that God is like this. What it says is God sometimes, out of his love, talks to us through life events. So what can happen? Let me give you an example, actually. I had a friend who told me this story and stayed with me because it was very mind-blowing. My friend said, Jawad, I love this girl. We wanted to get married, but our parents were not allowing it. I loved her, she loved me, parents were not allowing it. So in order to make it happen, sometimes I did things like we planned. If we do this, then maybe our parents we can be together, our parents would be. And he said sometimes these things that I did inside me, I actually knew they're not the right thing to do. But I thought, you know what, they're going to get me closer to her. Let me do it, then we'll sort it out with God later. Then my friend said after a while, it came to this place where the girl actually stopped loving me and she left and said, you know what, even if parents agree, I don't want this to happen. And he said, I was so shocked. I was so scared. What's happening? And he said, I looked back and I saw all the decisions I made, which I thought were wrong, but I thought, you know what, it's going to get me closer to her. I saw that now that I can look back, I can see every single decision I made against what I thought was right actually made us farther from each other. And it got to a stage where even her heart didn't want me anymore, right? And he said, like, I could see, like, I thought if we're, for example, live in this unit, go to the same unit, this is going to happen. And all of those decisions led her loving someone else and leaving me. Now, what is this relevant to our story? Because my friend said, suddenly I was shocked into a beautiful lesson which calmed my heart. And that was throughout these years that I thought God is against me and I sometimes went against what he was saying to get to the girl. I realized all of the things that were right would have actually given me what I wanted. And throughout these years, God actually loved me, wanted the best for me, but I went against it, lost that. Right? And so he learned this beautiful lesson that if God is planning and you're planning, trust God's plan more. Now, another way that God talks to you, right? Sometimes through life events, this person was taught a very important lesson that maybe if tens of lectures, tens of books wouldn't have been able to put this in his heart. But a life event told him that you can trust me as God. All these years, I didn't want you not to be with that girl. Right? It's actually the things you did that, made her go away. So God speaks to us sometimes like this through life events. Another example that God talks to us. Sometimes God talks to us and as part of his blessings through awakening moments in our life. Okay? An example I can say of an awakening moment in which God talks to us, teaches us things that can help us live a better life is after, for example, you become a parent. How many people have had this experience? The first thing they say, okay, so you become a parent. What is it like? A lot of people say, you know what, I just realized how much effort my parents put for me. And I just want to go back, kiss their hands, be there for them, show love to them. Now, millions of lectures on gratitude for parents wouldn't have taught them this lesson that, becoming a parent taught them, right? So God says, and Imam Husayn says, that events like this, when something happens in your life and suddenly a teaching, like parents, you have to be grateful to them, goes into the deepest corners of your heart. This is God's way of talking to you. So God either sometimes talks directly to you or through life events. Something that is shocking, something that is scary, something that is awakening. All of these are different ways of God talking to us out of his mercy and love. My time is running out. I want to mention the last point. And then it says, after all of this, so religion comes after all of this. So he says, you talk to me through events, through the voice within me, and then through ta'atika wa ibadatik. So the teachings of the prophets and the religions. But there's a very important line here. وَفَهَمْتَنِي مَا جَاءَتْ بِهِ رُسُلُكَ. Religion can only be beneficial if you understand it. A lot of the times now we go to our scholars or parents, we say, you know what, this part of religion, I don't get it. Say, no, it's religion, you have to do it. Imam Husayn says, no. وَفَهَمْتَنِي مَا جَاءَتْ بِهِ رُسُلُ. I have to understand what they brought for me. If I don't understand, it's not going to be good. I need to understand what I'm doing, right? It's a very important point. And then the beauty of it is this. Also pay attention, where are we right now? We are mentioning God's blessings. So he said, you gave me milk, you took care of me, you made my mother loving to me, you spoke to me directly, you used my life events to teach me things, and then you gave me religion. So religion has to feel like a gift. If it doesn't feel like a gift, it means that we haven't understood it, which unfortunately seems to be the case. And Imam Husayn says, in that case, it's not useful. It's not useful. Let me give you an example of something which happened a few weeks ago. If I was listening to a lecture, and the lecturer said, if people who don't pray go to heaven, it's unfair to us who pray. And on that moment, I had two hands. I borrowed two more hands and I did this. I was like, did you just say that? Did you say that if those who don't pray go to heaven, it's unfair to those who pray? Do you think your prayer that you do is a favor you're doing to God? Let me give an example so it becomes clear how stupid this is. Astaghfirullah. How wrong this is. I shouldn't say stupid. I'm sorry. My mom would get upset with me. Would you ever say that the milk your mom gave you, like the milk your mom gave you, like, oh, breastfed and you loved it. Would you ever say that if those who weren't breastfed go to heaven, it's unfair to those who are breastfed? No, you wouldn't say that, because you know that milk is a blessing. So if you think that those who don't pray will go to heaven, it's unfair to you, it means you're not praying. What you're doing is wrong, right? Religion is only useful when you realize it's for yourself, it's for your benefit. And if prayer or any other part of religion feels like something you're doing for God, or it's wrong. It's only gonna impact you when you understand it, Imam Husayn is saying, and when you know it's for your own, it's something you can count as a blessing, right? And let me, we a lot of the times, that's unfortunately where we get wrong. We think we're doing all of this for God, right? Say, I'm praying for God. If you think like that, you're wrong. The same way people who think they're crying for Imam Husayn, I'm hearing this a lot. Oh, Imam Husayn, don't worry, we are crying for you. Or for example, I just mentioned a lecture today was saying, yes, at the end of the time, the people will come who will cry for Imam Husayn, and Imam Husayn will be happy. Like, do you really think that your crying is for Imam Husayn? Like Imam Husayn right now, he's sitting next to God. I mean, metaphorically. And Lady Fatima, Lady Zainab, and then he's worried, oh, is Jawad going to cry for me? And then Jawad cries like, yes, this crying is for us. It's not for Imam Husayn, it's for us. If there's anything in this crying, it's for us to gain the benefit so that we become like them. So our crying is not for Imam Husayn, and our prayer is not for God. And when will we realize that? When we pay attention. Now, why don't we pay attention? Because we haven't thought that these are good for us. So Imam Husayn says you have to understand. Now, last example, and inshallah we'll end this session. This very dua Arafah, okay? When I say we have to understand religion, otherwise it's useless. This very dua Arafah. Let me read the translation of these parts that we just discussed. These important, very important discussion that we had. Let me read you the translation and see if you understand it or not. You put me under the obligation of your claim, which is that you inspired me with recognition of you. You put me under the obligation of your claim, which is that you inspired me with the recognition of you, and alarmed me by the wonders of your wisdom. And I want to tell you, what did that just say? Years by years, many of us read the Arabic, we don't understand. Many of us read the English, wallah, I don't understand this. I don't know what it says. You put me under the obligation of your claim, which is that you inspired me with the recognition of you. Well, because we thought religion is only for sawab and we're doing this for Imam Husayn or this and that, we just read it and we don't care. Imam Husayn says you have to understand it, otherwise it's useless. Dua Arafah. If you read it like this, I don't know what the translation is saying. But you saw when we sat down, we tried to understand it, how much beautiful points. Honestly, wasn't the discussion we had today very interesting? We learned so many cool things from Imam Husayn. But none of that is available in the translation. But Imam Husayn says you have to understand your religion. If you read dua and it doesn't make sense, oh, stop. Go and read it in a way so that it makes sense. Otherwise, you'll think that you're doing this for God, right? And then you will become like those people that think that religion is a duty, is a curse. I've seen so many people, they say, I wish Prophet hadn't made prayer wajib. It feels like a burden. As long as it feels like a burden, it means we're not doing it right. It's only correct when it's a blessing, when it feels like the milk our mom gave us. It has to be that sweet. Otherwise, we're doing it wrong. And inshallah, oh my God, today I went more than the 15 minutes. I apologize, but this discussion really deserved it. I couldn't let it go. And inshallah, tomorrow we will continue. I hope that inshallah, you have a lovely day. You remember us in your prayers. And if you enjoyed this discussion, please share it with your friends. Spread the word. And inshallah, it's going to be on IGTV and afterwards on as well on YouTube. In a few hours, it will be on YouTube. By the way, I just remembered I missed one of the lines. Let me mention that now that we exceeded 15 minutes, let's finish this part so that from tomorrow we can continue. So we said the ways God speaks to us, one of them, He speaks directly to our heart. Another one was through events which shock us. Another one which God speaks directly to us is through events which, wow, we suddenly are awakened. And then we said, another one which I forgot to mention was this one. وَنَبَّهْتَنِي لِشُكْرَكَ وَذِكْرِكَ. Imam says sometimes another way God speaks to us is through some events that suddenly makes you want to talk to God or makes you want to thank Him. And all of this again for your own benefit. Inshallah, in the session that comes either tomorrow or the next day, we'll speak about how shukr is for our own benefit. So Hussein says sometimes something happens in your life that is God actually doing it so that you remember and go talk to Him. And we mentioned, inshallah, or we're going to mention later on in the dua that the Imam says every time you remember God, God has remembered you before that. So he says sometimes that's how God talks to you. He, for example, makes you successful in something so that you become happy and go talk to Him. Right? So this is another way which God talks directly to us. And then some of us sometimes feel guilty to go talk to God. Like, oh, lately I've been negligent, lately I haven't been a good person, etc., etc. Imam Husayn says, no, this is no excuse. It says later on, وَلَمْ يَمْنَعْكَ جَهْلِي وَجُرْعَتِي. Let me read it for you from the dua. Imam Husayn says, no matter what you did, never be shy for going towards God. لَمْ يَمْنَعْكَ جَهْلِي وَجُرْعَتِي عَلَيْكَ أَنْ دَلَّلْتَنِي إِلَى مَا يُغَرِّبُنِي إِلَيْكَ. It says no matter what we do, our ignorance, even jur'at against God, like challenging God, being audacious, God, you're this, you're that, you're rude, you're cruel. Even speaking to God like this, Imam Husayn says none of this stops God's love for us. And God would still try to find a way to bring us back, right? So it's very beautiful. No matter what we've done, never feel guilty. Always go to God. Even if you don't go, it's okay. He's going to come to you. So today we spoke a little bit more because Imam Husayn's dua is just so next level. I hope, inshallah, that it was beneficial, and inshallah see you tomorrow. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.